All right, guys, hey, if everybody wants to grab a seat, we're going to get rolling.
John, you got 20 minutes?
20, 25. We're not crushed, right?
You got it.
This way. Okay, guys, everybody good? So this is all about build your brand, right? So build your brand for real estate agents, for anybody else that's listening. We're streaming live, so if you say something, the whole world's gonna hear it.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know. We're gonna go through a group of different presenters. Everybody that's presenting today is an actual professional in that field. That's what they do every single day for a living. So we're gonna start with Rapid Media, which is Caleb and Brandon. These guys are all about social media content development, social media paid advertising, and organic. So knock it out, folks.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Go for it, go.
You got it?
Yeah. All right, guys. So today we're going to go over organic social media. So this is all free stuff. There's a lot of avenues that you can take to give the platforms money, and they'll give you some, leads, views for it. But this is all free stuff. So the only thing you need to invest is your time, right? So what we like to do when we present is kind of just knock the questions out of the way. So right now, does anyone have any questions about social media that they're dying to have answered right now? And if not, some will probably come up. So, what's your name?
For real estate agents, Travis Jones. For
Travis
real estate
Jones.
agents,
Travis.
Which social media platform have you found to be the most effective in generating new leads?
Good answer. So we're going to go over 3 platforms right now: Meta, YouTube, and TikTok. It just depends who your market is, right? If you're targeting yoga moms that want like another house, like Facebook, right? If you want to target the ASU grads that are about to get a home in the next 2 to 3 years, go to TikTok. That's where they're going to be, right? If you're trying to get the grandparents that are trying to downsize in the house, Facebook's your spot too. If you're trying to get someone that's higher net worth and that does a lot of research, YouTube. They're going to go to YouTube to research a lot of that stuff too. Okay. So it's who's your home buyer, and we're going to go over that on the strategy side. So I know I didn't give you an indefinite answer, but it's wherever that person is, and then we'll teach you what that is.
Go to where your customers.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
What's your name?
What? Max.
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 All right.
What about LinkedIn?
LinkedIn's great for B2B, right? So we work with a mortgage lender with Prime Lending. His job is our job is to connect him with more real estate agents and be consistent on his profile pages to have that brand. So if you're trying to who would you try to connect with in the B2B world?
I wasn't looking at it from a B2B. I was just looking at it because your higher net worth people are generally more attracted to LinkedIn.
Okay.
That's all.
That's smart. So you bring a good point. Who here knows that there's a lot of people moving in for jobs, right? New jobs. Okay. If you know what jobs they're moving in for, so Intel, Dell, whatever they are, any semiconductors right now, you can target those roles on LinkedIn. Type in Intel, and anyone that has had a new position Intel this year, you can just send them a message. Hey, just heard you got a job at Intel. Only if you have premium, so you do got to pay for it. It's free for the first month, so take advantage of that. But message them, just hey, I just saw that you got a job at Intel. Congrats. I want to welcome you to the Valley. I want to welcome you to the Valley. Let's get a cup of coffee, right? So great question. Yeah, you can definitely get a higher network. And for those that like stats and numbers, 70% of the users on LinkedIn do have that, $70,000 a year base salary and above. So you're totally right about that.
Yeah, and I would say that LinkedIn is really, really good for referral partners. So if you guys are looking for people that are in the space that can provide you a lot more leads organically, it's a really, really good way to go and to find a mortgage lender, for example, or to go and find other people that are in that real estate space and connect with those people and use them and kind of leverage them and use them as kind of like an online networking way to grow your brand and also grow a lot of your lead flow, for sure.
And when we're talking about this, a lot of our instincts want us to go everywhere on social. I've seen it. We do a talk, next thing I know, someone goes crazy on all 4 social media platforms and then they burn out. This is not, right? It's not intended to do that. What you gotta do is just hey, I like that platform, let me go hard on that platform for the next 9 months, right? Because what this is a long-term strategy, because typically what someone does is, you guys know, how often does someone think about buying a house before they make a decision? takes a while, right? So our job is to get you guys top of their mind, right? And that's going to be what we're going to go over. So table content's super easy, guys. Strategy, best places for you. How to stand out on social media, so like what to do. Saying, hey, I'm Jimmy with Keller Williams, and this is a house. You're not going to stand out like that, okay, guys? And then how to execute your social media strategy. So these are the 4 things we're going to go over.
Cool. So your goal during this talk is to essentially learn more about organic, to learn more about how to grow and to where to start, so that you guys don't get burnt out. You don't start really, like Brandon had said, start on every single platform, burn out, and then give up. So that's really what we're trying to teach you here, is like, this is the tried and true way to grow on social media, and we're not trying to sell you anything. We are just here to let you guys know this is how you grow.
So you guys tell me if you've seen someone do this in the last month. That's a realtor, buddy. This is from a post I saw 2 hours ago. Okay, I saved it. All caps. Big news on multifamily units. Fannie Mae announced you can put 5% down payment on a multifamily home. All you have to do is live in 1 unit, conventional loan. This is amazing news. Let me know if you need some more information. Have any of you seen someone in the last month do something like that?
Yes.
Okay. You're literally shouting at people like, hey, buy a home for me. That's not what you got to do. On social media, you got to build trust, right? This isn't building trust, right? So what we're going to do is stem away from that and how to build trust on social media. So the first thing I want to go over, this is our, just kind of want to show you the proof in the pudding that we kind of know what we're talking about. So this is one of our pages right here, and for those that can't see all the way in the back, all of these, other than this one right here, they're all 1 million and above on views. So they're all 1 million plus. This is 526,000, and if you go on Simmons Law Group, they're ranked #1 on Arizona Divorce Attorney on TikTok. You type in Arizona Divorce Attorney, they're the ones that are popping up. And we've done this over a long period of time, over SEO, but we're gonna have someone else talk about it, not us today. But we have just, for the last 9 months, just hit hard on like, this is who we are, this is what we do, this is how we can help you, right? No selling divorces, just, we literally DJ. Like, it's just stuff about the attorneys, not about the divorce. Same thing right here, personal injury attorney. These aren't millions, but we got 67,000, 29,000, 10 million right here. For a personal injury attorney, 11 million eyeballs. That's a lot of eyeballs for them, right? They're really happy. And then growth. Over the last 90 days, 213%, 10,000 followers to 30,490 followers. So this is our proof. This is my proof. I dropped out of college. I just did it. Caleb, he would kind of show you how he went as well.
Yeah, so where I got to where I was today, I used to work at one of the largest digital marketing agencies in the world. It's called VaynerMedia. If you guys know who Gary Vaynerchuk is, or Gary V, it's his marketing agency. And I worked on their creative team on some of the biggest brands in the United States, a lot of those Fortune 500 companies. So that was Bose, Pepsi, Gillette, all of those big companies. And I have taken what I've learned from kind of that arena and kind of downsized it. And with Brandon, we've downsized it into these more local markets, specifically Phoenix. So we're really excited to be able to share what we've got for you today.
Yeah, so we've been there. I mean, I've been in a place where I'm working in my business. I haven't made money in a whole year, right? And a lot of business owners go through that. And we're just kind of going through the trenches. But the results speak for themselves. We're like, we did this hard stuff, now let's get into the good stuff. So this is how, there are many ways that you can strategize your brand, but if you don't know where you're going without a map, you're just going to get lost. You're like a captain out at sea without a map. You're just going to be lost at sea, and the seagulls are going to eat you. You're going to be seagull lunch. Anyways, so what you got to do is you got to take advantage of these tools that we're about to give you. So if anything, my personal opinion is the strategy is my favorite part out of everything. There's no one way you can form a video to go viral. There's some stuff that can help you, but strategy is what will help you out. Who here wants to create content but just doesn't know, have any ideas of what to say, what to do, other than this is the house. Look at the house, right? Okay, cool. Strategy, interest rates are going to go down. Hello, it's just stuff like that. This is what's going to help you create effective content that converts. So, I forgot your name, bro. One more time.
You're fired.
I know, I can't be a good realtor, right?
Travis Jones.
Travis, all right, this is going to answer your question. So you got to research your ideal client. So it's the longest process, but so for example, let's say we're looking for those older people that are looking to downsize a home. Their family left, they all went to college, and now they're they got this big old house that's 3 stories, and now they want one little house, in Old Town Scottsdale. They're old. Maybe like somewhere in like Gilbert, right? Somewhere else. Okay. So, where is your audience the most? These are the questions you should be asking, right? Where does the homeowners hang out? On social media. Everyone, if you drive, next time you guys drive, look at it's not going to be a little weird, but look at people's cars. Their face is down, looking at their phone. I guarantee it. As soon as you drive out, people are going to. I do it too. I shouldn't, but they're going to be down looking at their social media. So where are those people hanging out? Do you want new buyers, right? Where are these people hanging out? So for example, if you want to target me, you should probably be on either TikTok or Facebook, because that's where I am. And every time, remember, you're planting seeds on social media. You want to get people to think about the home buying process. You want to get people to think about you when I think of a house. I'm in a group with an amazing realtor, and every time I think about a house, I ask him questions, right? Just because he's on my social media all the time. So this is how you do it. If you have a hard time figuring out content, this is TikTok, but you can do it on Instagram and YouTube. Type in real estate, space. You good? Yeah.
I hollered it to him.
Oh, I see.
She's on the first one.
So real estate, space, and then this is what the people are actively looking for. So real estate market. People want to know about the real estate market. Real estate house tours. People really want to know if anyone's doing high luxury homes, those pop off on TikTok. Hey, I'm in this house, it's 1.3 million, let's do a house tour. Boom, boom, boom. If you guys, I don't know if you can do that or not. I'm assuming you can. You're trying to show the house. So these are the trending questions. So here, would you make a house about the rates? No one cares about the rates right now. These are the top things, and it ranks down. So the highest most search one's gonna be on top. The last one's gonna be on bottom, right? So try to look for the ones on top. Make content about that. Okay. Next tip, you're gonna click that. So you're gonna click on real estate market, and you're gonna click on the first video with 400,000 views. You're gonna click on the comments. This person says, forget the market, let's talk about property taxes and how they're going to make sure people stay broke even after paying off in a house. Who here has an opinion on that? You have an opinion on property taxes. So what you need to do is, whether you agree or disagree, you need to make a piece of content that is about that. Now, you can't be in the middle. Never be in the middle, right? A lot of people want to stay safe because they're scared they're going to lose someone. But you want people that agree with you and like you, so that you can make that piece of content and pick a side. 127 people already agree with it, right? So they want to see that piece of content. Question?
That's what I was going to ask about that. Is that just somebody fishing for responses? Because that's a dumbass freaking point of view.
Look at that, right? You think it's a dumbass piece of point of view, and so do other people probably. So you should make a piece of content out of that, right? I'm not here to start fights on social media or stuff like that, but there's a lot of things where people can get misled with stuff like this. And if people are getting misled, you're really letting them get misled by not making your piece of content. You're not saving them from that bad message, right? So if someone has a lot of hearts on their TikTok question or Instagram question, people genuinely care about that. Typically, this means they agree with them. So you're gonna make a piece of content that says you guys are all wrong, basically, or you guys are all right. Okay? Does this make sense on how to generate ideas? Yes. Cool. One idea that I've told 5 realtors that haven't taken it, and I think will blow up, is who here listens to murder mystery podcasts? You do? I figured you did. You figured. It's the glasses. All right. So let's say there's a house in Michigan, and Jason, the murderer, murdered someone in this house, right? All you got to do is talk you're not selling this house. Take off your salesman hat, your real estate hat off. Be this is the house that this family got murdered by Jason the murderer. Let's look at it on Zillow. Wow, this house is $400,000. That's crazy. Well, that's the house. Follow for more horror house stories, and then you make a whole bunch of videos like that. And then people are wow, I also like murder mystery, and this is interesting. So now, just because they like murder mystery, that means they're gonna start going to you because you're educating them, right? So what am I getting at here? Find something that you can connect yourself with the audience. It's not just real estate. The people that you buy with, you go out to dinner with them, you talk sports, right? You guys bond over sports, or you talk over a certain topics, right? This is how you do it on social media. But you just gotta have different ideas and tie that into real estate. So any idea you like, just put it on a spreadsheet, and then when you feel creative, make a video. That's how we do it for our clients. post it on a spreadsheet. We're going through the internet. Like, these are the top pieces of content. It's on the spreadsheet. Let's talk about it. That's it. It's nothing like crazy, nothing fancy. We're not using AI to generate this stuff. This is the idea. Talk about it.
To go a little bit more into specifics, what this actually looks like practically is what you're doing is you're going to TikTok, you're looking at those comment sections, you're going through all those videos, and you've got your spreadsheet up right next to you, and I want you to write down all of those ideas that you have and bang out like 20 different ideas. And then when you go to the actual production of it, it doesn't need to be anything crazy. We'll get a little bit farther into it, but really what it looks like is like you just going through every single one of these videos and making them all at one time. Because what a lot of people do is they'll go and make one video, post it, gets 200 views, they're done, they burn out, right? If you were to make 200 or 20, if you were to make 20 videos and post them all over the course of 2 months, right? You're gonna get analytics from all of those different videos. So probably 18 of them are gonna get 200 views, 50 views, whatever. But there's gonna be 2 that overperform, or 1 that overperforms over all of the other ones. What you can do is then take that one that got 1,000, 2,000 views, and you're like, okay, I know that people like this, right? So then what you do is you take that and you basically duplicate that framework of that video and make 50 different versions of that. And then you just continuously go and go and go, and you'll have a never-ending production of content, and that's how you start to build your own niche. So like, you don't have to make 20 different videos that are all like death videos in someone's house, but if you make one and then you make 19 other ideas and you see that, oh, this is actually the one that overperformed, you now have the incentive to continue going and continue building forward.
I really like that because I've always been like bogged down, like what's my niche? What am I going to be doing?
It's you. You're your niche.
Exactly. It doesn't matter what it is. You're just trying to make as much as possible to see what people gravitate to.
Exactly.
You'll grow into your niche. A lot of people are like, start with a niche. Like, yes, but people want to do business with you. You're your own niche. Just remember that. No one can duplicate you. No one's going to copy you guys, right? I think you would be really good at this because I feel like you have really hard to pick. Like, you're like, I saw that, and I'm like, I could feel your energy. Like, I want to make content about that, right?
Well, my point on that one was either the guy's an idiot or he's brilliant, because it's maybe engaging people as opposed to just trying to make the point that it's dumb to pay property taxes.
Yeah.
It's dumb to own property. Nobody in this room believes that. Okay, so that was it. I mean, do you put stuff like that just to get people like me going, hey, butt stick,
Yeah.
buy some property, right? So that's my point on that. Is it, which one is it? Is it a brilliant idea to put something that seems so dumb in?
Now you wouldn't be commenting on that, right? Maybe you could comment like, I don't agree with this, and then someone would be like, wow, like another person doesn't disagree. Another person doesn't agree, like it, and then they're gonna look at your profile, and then they're gonna see that you made a video about that, right? So that's just another way to funnel more people in there. So like any video that does like 10, 20,000, there's like probably like 10 to 30 comments in there. You can grab that audience, say something to them, and they're gonna look at your profile. Like if someone comments on my stuff, I look at who they are. I'm like, I can't see the little picture on their face. I'm like, who is this person, right? But I'm nosy. What's up?
So the way it seems like for him, like that post is like a gift for you.
Yeah.
Because it just gives you like, now you can put that behind you on the video and say, look at this. This is why this is so dumb. Here's what, and now you have a strong page.
Green screen.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's the green screen effect. Super, super useful. And you just want to have something to talk about, right? And that's how you generate ideas. So that's strategy, guys. So right now you should have an idea of where your target audience hangs out, right? We're going to dive deeper and more into it. Yes.
Let me ask you a question, because I was told something I believe was good information. What? So I'm a little older, and my audience
Real old.
TikTok or Snapchat or Instagram. So that's just I was told Facebook is my audience because it's a little older.
Who's your audience?
My demographic.
Your demographic?
A little older, professionals. Like my kids are on those old ones.
So you don't want to like you like.
Well, my question
Yeah.
is I was told that you can actually post something and you can go over all of them or something. But if I'm not actively on, like I don't even have TikTok. What is it?
Yeah.
TikTok. I don't even have it on my phone. So is there advantages to posting proactive in response that people are giving you, or how's that work?
I want to make sure I got your question right. You're asking, like, one, where your audience is, right?
I'm on Facebook.
You're on Facebook.
I post on Facebook videos, and I've got a good following on Facebook, and it works for me.
Okay. If it's working for you, that's great. Now, everything that's worked for you on Facebook, I would challenge you, and you're like, if you're ready to make another step and look for another audience, even if the audience is that older demographic, I'll challenge you and say, literally copy that video and throw it on TikTok and just see what it does. Because you never know, maybe someone that has a problem in your demographic has the same problem in someone our, like we're Gen Z, right? You never know, right? And if you get people start talking about real estate on TikTok, right? There's a lot of people, right?
But now I'm going to start watching that, right? Now I'm going to start looking at it and evaluating what I'm getting a response to and all that.
Well, you'll get a notification, right? So like and sometimes people are just like idiots, like they'll just say like, this is stupid, right? Like, you know.
I found out last week that you can get messages on Insta pictures.
Yeah.
I had like 100 messages. I had no idea.
Yeah, dude. Reach out to them because they may be your prospect, right? Those are all.
Yeah. They were all pictures too.
They weren't anything to do with real estate, trust me.
So we're gonna dive deeper into YouTube. I appreciate all the questions, but
where did the E dropped off?
I don't know.
I swear we typed it correctly.
We're gonna talk about YouTube.
Never.
So this will give you an edge over your competition, and I like YouTube because for a lot of more analytical people that like longer form content, this is where you can really like kind of get that oomph. And I really like it if you are trying to hit a local area, right? So each video can be like real estate in Gilbert, like multiple times you hit it. Like if that's your area, like hit it hard, right? Or real estate in Old Town, like what's happening in Old Town. Each week you can just make a video about what's happening in Old Town, Scottsdale, okay? It's a spot where your clients can get help, like all like the big thinkers, the ones that are more analytical about the market. They want to see all the details before they make a decision. They're probably gonna go to Google, and Google's probably gonna send them to YouTube. They're either gonna read an article or watch a video. We want them to watch your video, right? Cool. So best practices is like you gotta educate your audience, answer the real estate questions. Same thing. Go on Google, type in real estate. Space. After all that, like people are searching for the next words right there. So you can now, if you type in real estate in Gilbert space, what are they saying? I don't know why I'm like stuck on Gilbert. Okay. So you can talk about the trending topics, something that is like the Fannie Mae and the 5% down for the duplex. Like you can talk about that, right? Because anytime something happens big on the real estate world, like you just want to like hop on it, talk about it. 5 minutes in your car while you're driving. Not while you're driving. While you're stopped at McDonald's. While you're stopped at McDonald's or Burger King. And honestly, like you could just contest common myths, right? So I think you could go like 5-10 minutes about that guy's comment, right? I think you could, just off your energy off that. And then like if you're really to take the like YouTube game, like it's a long game, right? You're not gonna go viral and be like Mr. Beast in 1 year. You can't do it, right? And if you can, I'll give you a cookie because that's awesome. But it takes a long time. So, but it builds a lot of trust because if people are sitting there watching you for 20 minutes, they're gonna trust you, right? I watch YouTubers for 20 minutes that I trust. I watch YouTubers for 10 seconds that I don't trust, right? I don't. If I don't agree with them, I won't watch it. So if your YouTube will work for you if you can fully create consistent content. If you can confidently talk about topics. So if you're newer to real estate, I don't think anyone new here is to real estate. Are you new to real estate?
Like last week.
Last week?
Oh, congrats.
Okay, congrats, dude. What's up?
5 months new. Or
5 months new?
Yeah.
If you feel like if you feel like you're gonna make content, you're like, I don't know about that. Let me do some research. I would hold back real quick from YouTube. Because people on YouTube will hit you hard with the facts, and you don't want to get shown up on YouTube. What's up?
Couldn't I leverage that? Like, I know nothing. Could I go out there and be like, I'm going to start spitting some facts that I heard secondhand from a guy that I saw the other day?
Yeah.
And see what kind of community can develop from that.
You can leverage that.
Yeah.
Just be careful because you don't want to ever lose credibility. It's very easy to lose credibility super fast, right? And if you if people look at your comments and you're consistently losing credibility, people are going to second guess themselves and trusting you, right? So that's why I'm like, in YouTube, like you really want to know your stuff if you hit it, because no one holds back on YouTube. That's the one where people are like really like, I don't care about you. I'm going to hit you where it hurts. Okay. So, Meta, what's up?
Sorry, for YouTube, is there a time limit of the
So you can do YouTube Shorts now. YouTube Shorts is a new thing, 60 seconds, there's that video. Time for me, like if you're trying to get like ad revenue from, YouTube and you want ads, like 10 minutes is a good one. But really, like, if you're starting out new, just go to wherever you're comfortable with. Now, there's no one-way answer, it has to be 12 minutes and 5 seconds, right? No. But if you feel comfortable going on for 10 minutes, go for 10 minutes. Now, if you're at 7 minutes and you're like, I don't have any more, I'm just gonna start bullshitting, right? I don't know if I can cuss on Facebook Live. Anyways, if you're just gonna start, BSing, I would just cut it at 7 minutes, right? So I've seen videos that do really good at 5 minutes, but also sometimes people just want a 5-minute market recap, like what's going on. We have a finance guy, finance bro, who does 20-minute market recaps. Too long. I cut it 5 minutes, got more views, right? So sometimes people see 20 minutes, I'm like, I don't know, I just want the meat, right? So get to the meat, go on there. Sometimes people just can't sit along for that. Yes?
How important is quality?
Quality? Dude.
On YouTube, right? I mean, is it content more important than quality?
Value. You want value. There's a guy that sits in his closet, talks about business, 1.2 million views all the time. Sit in your closet. As long as it's valuable. Yeah.
I've done some research on YouTube on real estate. What do you think about the AI generating where they can create content and the AI will give you an algorithm of what's trending or words to use and scripts to use?
Oh, like the keyword research and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, use that to your advantage. There's these cool tools that will allow you on what's trending and it will help you. But overall, like those AI tools are just gonna be like tools you can help. It's like you still gotta be there to be valuable. But we got 5 minutes and we're gonna breeze through these. So Caleb,
sorry, I just had one thing to add on that. There's two huge giant AI tools, OpenAI and Bard. Bard is owned by Google. Google owns YouTube. So they know that algorithm and they're and basically every other AI tool is based out basically a reskinned version of OpenAI or Bard. So if you're using AI tools, be really, really careful because YouTube knows if you're using AI-generated keywords, AI-generated things, and so they will purposefully limit your reach because they don't want that. So that's just something to keep in mind.
Bard's more up to date, right? So would be more up to date with the market.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bard is spelled how?
I think it's just B-A-R-D. Yeah, I'll keep going.
I like ChatGPT 4. I pay for it. I like ChatGPT 4. But honestly, if you're looking like I want to target moms that do yoga, there's a group for that. Be their friend. Go to yoga. Just hang out with them. Be involved in the community. Okay, guys. If you like pool, I'm sure, guarantee. I don't even know, but I guarantee there's a group of guys and gals that play pool all the time. And if you like swimming pools, there's a group of people that like swimming pools. There's a group for everything on Facebook.
Different keywords, though.
Different keywords, and you can do that. So,
and that does not mean selling in these groups.
No. Be their friends.
You're really getting into the community and showing people that you are a resource. And by you being a resource, they want to use you as someone who's in real estate, not selling to them.
And then it just allows you can communicate with people so easily. If someone posts something, you don't even have to be their friend. You can comment on them, send them a friend request. People are lonely, they'll most likely accept your friend request, right? So I accept everyone, right? So, perfect, thank you. So Caleb, I'll let you go on TikTok real quick. TikTok's where we've had the most success for all our clients. So I'm biased to TikTok. So Caleb, go for it.
So TikTok, in my opinion, is the best place to get analytics and the best place to start for anyone, regardless of where your audience is. It's really important to keep that in mind, but TikTok will give you the most feedback and also give you the most comments on the different topics that you're doing, as well as being that search engine that you can pull ideas from. So I would definitely double down on TikTok if you're trying to start out, because what you can do is you can pump out content way more easily than you could on a YouTube, right? Making a 20-minute YouTube video is going to take you a lot of time and a lot of effort, and that might get 5 views. Let's not kid ourselves. But if you make, in that same 20 minutes, 5 TikToks, you now have, at a minimum, 1,000 views of analytics that you can kind of pull from and look at those metrics. And then from there, when you know which ones are going to do well, then maybe make a 20-minute YouTube video on the one that did well, right? There's a funnel. Honestly, we'll send you guys the slides if you want to see them afterwards, but we'll
if you want the slides, there's going to be a QR code at the end of this. Scan it, hit the hit the link. I'll send you all of this, okay? Because I really want you guys to have this.
And I'll have you on Facebook.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I'll accept it. Okay, so what we're trying to get at, you guys, is like you create content with what's trending right now on social media, and that seems to be the biggest bottleneck. Like, what content do I create, right? So that's essentially what I want to do, and posting it, just choose one, and if you're there for 6 months, 9 months, and you're like, nah, I'm not getting any reach, whether it's LinkedIn, TikTok, Threads, right? No one uses Threads, right? Wherever it is, if you feel like you don't
Facebook's Twitter.
Yeah. See, people don't even know what Threads is. But this is kind of like what we do, so I'll let Caleb jump into this one.
Yeah, so this is like actual, like this is how you start. These are just some quick, easy tips. Things that I personally, if I was starting in the real estate business, I would not invest in is a bunch of high quality, like super high quality editing equipment, stuff like that, like phone equipment, stuff like that. Really what you need is a phone, because honestly, UGC content usually performs better than high quality content anyway, especially in the short form platforms. The second thing is a good microphone, so you can get a good microphone on Amazon for like $50. We can send you the link to the one that we use for all of our clients. It's $140. Really, really good microphone, and then good lighting. Good lighting doesn't necessarily mean, like me standing right here, this is good lighting, versus me in that room with the lights off and there's no sunlight, right? So like, good lighting really just means your face is well lit and you can see there's no shadows. So just avoid shadows and you should be good. And also your phone will put grain on your videos if it's dark, just FYI. So yes, and then the biggest thing here though is to use a hook, and I know you guys have heard it before, but I'm gonna explain to you exactly how to readjust if the hook isn't working. Actually, that's in the next slide.
Yeah,
so
anyways, just your hook is not, I'm Jimmy with Keller Williams, here's a house. That's not a hook. Don't introduce yourself, just say, someone got murdered in this house. Next, right? Like, don't introduce yourself. People will know who you are. If they care enough, they'll click on your profile.
Also, your name is at the bottom of every video.
Mm-hmm. So who here remembers that fire from the landfill like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, right? It stinks. It stinks. Okay, people were probably wondering what the F is going on, right? So we call it rocks, okay? Relevant organic content. If anything's ever happening in Phoenix, Scottsdale, anything, you make a piece of content about that. Whether it has to do with real estate or not, but you can always tie it in. So the fire. Wow, if you are in East Scottsdale, east side of the valley, this is going to affect you. If you're on the west side, you're good. By the way, if you're on the west side, did you know there's a fire going on? You talk about stuff that's going on, and if you can tie in real estate, do it. But like the fair, hey, did you know the fair's here? Like, talk about the fair, right? People want to know if you're going to be the local expert in an area. People want to know that you can do that, right? They want to know that you know what's going on in your area.
Or you could talk about honestly, you could be like, oh, there was a fire at the fire at the dump. It's the dump, right? Yeah. There's a fire at the dump. What do real estate prices look like around that area, and how are those people affected by the smell from the dump, right? Yeah. Like, these are just, you can bring real estate literally into anything.
Very good. I like this one because a lot of times people don't have the attention span to listen. So we put a video of a squeaky little faucet, we're literally shaking it around. This video did 200 views. We deleted it, put this other video right here we're shaking around a faucet, got 5,000 views. People on TikTok have low attention span. So put something fun under it. You can literally edit it, just put it there, and then make sure your captions are up here. Super easy. So those are kind of the different things that we do just to generate more views.
Yeah, and to expand more, this really connects to the hook that I was talking about earlier, is that when you post things on TikTok and they underperform, what I would do is look at the retention rate and look at where people dropped off. 99% of the time, it's in the first 5 seconds, especially if it has 200 views. So what you really want to do is adjust those first 5 seconds and just change your hook, change your wording, and then just repost it again and see how it does. I guarantee you will start to find success as you do that more commonly. And then once you kind of get a bite on what's working, and then you post it again and it dies, you're like, okay, I know exactly what I need to change. It's in that first 5 seconds. And so that's a really good example of just basically adjusting that hook and then basically doing another A/B test almost.
Yeah. So I'm sorry that we went a little bit over, John, but I want to get if you guys want more information about your personal thing, we like doing free social media audits where this is what you got to do, this is what you can't do, and if you want to bounce ideas off, not in a public setting like this, totally down for it. Just schedule something on my calendar and Caleb and I will be there. This is all free. It's not a sales funnel where we're like, buy our stuff, because our market's really lawyers. Like, we like to help lawyers, but what we do for lawyers can be applied to what you guys do, and we just kind of want to help out the Scottsdale living, and also give John a shout out for letting us give value to you guys. So again, thanks for having us. Caleb, any thoughts? Any last thoughts?
No. Go make some content.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What's up?
So if you do a video on like a third party, like that, is it CapCut?
CapCut.
Yeah. If you do a video over there and you upload that, is that gonna matter for your views on that particular channel? So for example, TikTok, because you're uploading from a third party, does it not give it like the full blast as if you were to do a actual video?
So no, it won't affect you in this specific instance when you edit in CapCut and move it to TikTok, because CapCut and TikTok are kind of integrated together. I think that TikTok might own part of CapCut. They are connected somehow. But one thing that is really, really important is if you like post something on TikTok and it has a watermark and then you go and post it on Instagram, Instagram will kill it. It does not want anything with the logo, and that also applies to any of your guys' logos. Don't put them inside of your video, because what Instagram will do is flag those and think that they're actually logos for other businesses that are competitors, because they don't have time to filter through all of them. But if they are seeing these logos, your videos will continuously underperform.
How about our broker logos? Because those are practically mandatory.
What was that?
How about our broker logos?
On all social media posts, they have to be on your videos.
So it doesn't have to be on the video, it has to be in the content. It's got to be
Oh, there's content. So it's a good watermark.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we do for our mortgage guys at the end of every video, we add an end card, prime lending, details, non-financial, or not advice or whatever it is. So,
Financial loans?
yeah.
Any truth to TikTok being dangerous? Like the Chinese government trying to get information and all this stuff here out there?
So our data is located here on U.S. servers, but it's really personal opinion. How much do you trust the government and the U.S. servers protecting our own data, right? So all the data that is here in the United States is located on U.S. servers, and supposedly they're keeping it encrypted and safe here. And that's from that Supreme Court case with the CEO of TikTok. That's where they talked about that, right? But again, people will say anything.
Not the Supreme Court case.
The congressional hearing, thank you. But people will say anything to cover their ass their butt on in those hearings.
But is it Chinese owned?
TikTok is
It is Chinese.
It is owned from.
It has loose ties to the Chinese government. However, all the data is encrypted, managed by a few people. Bill Gates is one of them. So I don't know. Do you trust Bill Gates? No, you don't trust Bill Gates. You lost. Yeah. I mean, if you trust Mark Zuckerberg, I mean, it's all of these companies. I don't really trust any of them, but I don't have a lot of important data. So if you have important data, it's up to you.
Yeah, make sure any data where you're like, don't get your customer or your client's data like on social media. Like, you guys have your own encrypted systems, and to do that, that's secure, right? Like, my insurance agent, I don't give her all my information on social media. I do it through her secure portal, right? And I think you guys, as realtors, you have that. So yeah. So.
Quick last question. So we're talking about how we're able to create an audience, create all of these views, and people that want to consume our content. What's the correlation between that and actually converting that over to potential sales or leads or anything like that? Is there anything that you guys can show that shows, hey, I'm not just building an audience for people that like my content here in Scottsdale because I'm talking about things. I'm also talking to people who want to potentially buy a home.
Yes. So there's a tool called Linktree, and you can track all of your analytics. Linktree.
Oh, Linktree.
It's pretty common. And basically what that tool does is it tracks all of the links that are going in and out of your platform. So if you are referring people or have a CTA at the end of your videos that are going to your website or going to wherever what those leads would look like, what you can do is have them go through that Linktree, and you can track that conversion. So now you have a better idea of, is this working or is this not working in terms of conversions. However, what I will say is social media is a long-term game. So really don't expect like, oh, I got 1,000, or I got 1,000, I got 10,000, even 100,000 views, and I didn't get any conversions. That's a waste. You really want to, it's a long-term game that you want to be top of mind, because like you guys know, people are only buying houses like 2 to 10 times in their entire life. So they're not going to make a purchase the second they see you. They have to consistently see you on an ongoing basis. And when the time comes for them, they know, oh, you're a great referral, or oh, I want to use you to buy a house, right?
Okay.
So,
It's when they're like, yeah, I should buy a house. Let me talk to the guy I keep seeing on social media, or gal I keep seeing on social media. They probably know, right? I'm a yoga mom. I want to buy a house. Oh, our girl over here, she also is a realtor and a yoga mom. We like her. Let's go talk to her about real estate. So just being on top of mind.
Right, you got the yoga moms.
I love yoga moms. Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
So that was Rapid Media. So they're here in the building. So if you guys you can stop by anytime. We're open like all the time. But they're back in the corner. Not to put them in the corner. That's just their office. It's Brandon and Caleb. They're fantastic. They'll be back there. Let's take like a 2 or 3 minute break if you need to go to the bathroom, water, or anything. And then next up is going to be Fletcher. And this is a guy who's been doing SEO since he was 2. He's basically a monster at it. And it's going to be really, really interesting because it's going to be a lot of good stuff to see in here.
Also, guys, just be mindful of the 2-hour parking if any of you are on 2-hour parking. So I set a timer so we'll try and take a break. So
we all just like go move our cars.
I think we should all just like take it out of space. It actually should typically like round you up because it's very
You guys use them? I used a free one. This is how much your site is worth. It's worth $2.
No, exactly. Right? So it's like, how much you spend on this?
Your competitor is worth $12,000.
That's
You're telling me you want to be like that?
That's how we come in to most of our like project or something. It's like, let's see where you are. Let's see where everybody else is going to tackle it. But like, I'm also founder of an AI tool that we use that creates the entirety of everything.
Oh, really?
And it's fully optimized to ensure customers we tend to, it's like, if that wins, which it does, is because the way the line works, as soon as VAT, tackle all the subjects, and say what you believe about those subjects. So once you have that, you've got a foundation to build off of.
I like that. That's cool. So you double that up with like strategy? That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like you're not going to lose for having, you know, a big chink in your arm. It's like everybody's talking about how, like, for some reason, everybody has to buy a house or somebody's being killed in it. You're not talking about that? They all have the foot in the door. You don't have and you might have a ton of other stuff, but it's
people are weird, bro. They want to buy houses when people are murdered.
Dude, so any data that supports LinkedIn articles on Reddit trading higher on Google now?
We would.
I'm getting all my clients on LinkedIn articles, garbage metal, backing up into the website.
100% leverage it. And to use as many like iPhone index as possible. And then the framework that I think, iFrench. So if I can do an article on LinkedIn, here's their website.
Oh, embed, yeah, okay.
And then embed that video there. That stack. That stack is one of the more important factors.
You got 20 minutes. So I'll put the YouTube video, and then I will link, I will embed that video on their video article, and then the article basically is a blurb of the video, and then individual, so like airlines, I link it to the airline part of the website, so you're talking about retirement, like we're put up the link to the retirement part.
Contextually appropriate. Okay. Yeah, the concept of the Google algorithm, there's probably 5 core components of Google algorithm. That one has a lot to do with contextual relevance, as well as place of call, as well as mature clusters. And by doing that, 3 out of those top 5 So, and then the title of the video, the thing that I have to post on us, is reflection out. There's keywords that we search place to go up. And the main class, each time you search that content, those take care of then just all the words and got something in there and stuff. Yeah, it could be great content, but it's not labeled well. It's like, you're not going to find an objective. You might find this perfect block, 1868 fair lane, but if it's not labeled, you're not going to find it. And that's how Google has to treat all this stuff. So much crap. So by stacking all those things, have the right words in the campaign, and each of these kind of vertical structures of clusters, as long as you have probability in place to properly,
making this guy 1 to 2 articles a week, just like that, just backing into different areas of the website. And because of the video, just help them over to us. I was like, alright, well, let's take it. How about we're going to social media strategies on I just want to say, they're smart. Like they're great. I work with like 1 to 2 partner firms with 1 to 3 paralegals and maybe a couple of assistants. Nothing better than that. Yeah, I mean like if they have a marketing department, I can use it. We're working with this one lawyer and it's getting out of the leads. Like he has no one to call the leads. He calls them like daily. I'm like curious. But you gotta call them in 5 minutes.
Live pickup.
So, yeah, we're about to like, I think it's more about, these are big stocks, I'm sorry, in the future. Yeah, I was like, dude, like, you're getting a lot, like, you're getting 2 leads a month in the business department. Now you're getting 21, like, that's totally different.
Thank you for your question.
I just like to share it. So you want to always open
Seem like a pretty good guy to ask this question. Were there beers to go along with that?
I think so. I know where someone in Jordan's office. Some beers told me to get one. Yeah, cool. I might just crack one before I start talking, because that's a lot more my game. For beers? Oh yeah, big slide decks, all this weird hierarchical thing.
You probably get right where I am.
I tend to. Let me do that. Let me take the advice.
You want me to come?
Seriously?
What's the chip chocolate?
4.
Hey John, cool with this?
Oh yeah, go ahead, man.
All right.
That was my idea.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you more than that.
That works out. Crazy as that.
You're doing it anyway. 4 years in too. Is that mine?
All right, we cool? Hey, cheers. Cheers to the lads. How you guys doing? My name is Joshua Fletcher. I go by Fletch, which is totally cool. For anybody to call me that, because Josh, when I was a little kid, I got kind of like unhappy about it because it means like joking around. And I'm really serious. As you can tell by the fact that I'm drinking the beer while talking to you guys. So, Jordan, who's back here with Star Studios, somebody that I met about 10 years ago. I do a lot of things in this kind of underground make money online niche, which I found because I was a general contractor here in Phoenix doing home energy efficiency improvements on houses, and I got the water turned off on my pregnant wife, who called me while I was crawling around in an attic and said, honey, I know you're going to figure this out, but you're going to have to talk to our oldest daughter tonight, tell her that we can't pay the phone, or we can't pay the water bill, so she can't take a shower tonight. And so that's when I kind of woke up and got real serious about figuring out what I needed to do to make sure I had enough lifeblood coming into the business that I really cared about to make it work for my family as well as the customers that I worked with. So, put on my steel-toed boots, walked over to Starbucks, started Googling around and figuring out what I could do to make sure that the phone rang more often. I was plugged in at the time to a program through APS and SRP that would just send you leads from people who wanted better insulation and ceiling ducts and HVAC work on their houses. And they were sending me like 3-4 a month, and that was enough for me to go out and do the stuff with them, and then you actually get the construction project. They changed that program, and my phone calls went from that to nothing, which is what landed me in the attic, 145 degrees, with a pregnant wife and a daughter in 4th grade, I think, at the time, trying to scramble around and figure out how to make money on the internet. So what I landed on was search engine optimization, which I know probably most of you know something about. What it tends to refer to in the industry is doing things to your website or your YouTube channel or your social media platforms or whatever, so that when people are looking for you, when people are looking for a solution to their problems, they find your answers. And that kind of distinction is actually pretty important. So they're not looking for you. If they're looking for you, they got your phone number, they know your email, they've got your website address, but they're looking for solutions to their own problems. And if you've ever watched someone else use the internet, we all use it differently, like radically differently. We type in different search phrases, we go to different places to look for information, whatever it might be. Because we all use the internet so radically differently, it presents a problem for people trying to market themselves effectively on the internet, because we tend to only look at things from our perspective. Very difficult to say, oh yeah, well that makes sense to look at it that way. We don't default going that way. So what winds up happening is that we become very myopic. We build very small websites. We have very little effort put into our marketing on the internet, because we're not considering the audience and how they're hearing it, how they're seeing it, what they're actually looking for. So I hate slide decks. Sorry if you guys do. I'm just going to use these as kind of some talking points. Most of today, what we're going to do is focus on a case study from a project that I started in like 2021, give or take. It was a project that $8,000 to $10,000 that was put into it, and then we'll get into some of the kind of results that came out of that. And one of the things with search engine optimization, from having run a marketing agency for 10 years and then coached and talked and trained like thousands of people who do the same thing, SEO is like this, you're like a friggin' repossessing cars. Our reputation is drugged through the mud because a lot of people are just doing these like schemes and tactics that don't really have a massive impact on the customer's business, and they're just collecting money. They get you into long-term contracts, and it just doesn't turn out to be a decision that when your customer makes, they don't later regret. For the most part, when people have dealt with SEO agencies, it's not usually a long-term relationship. It's like that one-night stand in Vegas, and then you want to just kind of forget about it and move on, or never go back to Vegas again.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, it's just crickets out here, so nobody knows what that's like, right? So one of the things I would kind of say, so if you look at the internet from Google's perspective, or any search algorithm's perspective, it has to make sense of this 4-letter word up here, W-I-N-D. So what does that say?
Wind or wine? Which one?
Which one?
Oh.
Exactly. So what does it say now?
The wine blows.
You're trying to be contrary. Maybe you saw my next slide, which is this. So it's wind, and then people typically, unless you're him, because I got you a beer, I got your default mode network in your brain lowered, and so you're thinking more creatively. But what that points to is the fact that even with 2 or 3 words, or 2 or 3 pages, or 2 or 3 videos on your platform, whether that's your website or your social media account or your YouTube videos or whatever it might be, Google's still trying to kind of make sense of what you're about. And it needs a lot more of the context built around it to even understand what a 4-letter word means. So it needs this entire sentence to say this is wind and not wind, because at the beginning it was W-I-N-D, could be wind. the wind blows. Yeah, the wind does blow. But in this sentence, it's now wind. And this is just an example to show you that it takes a lot more context in your online marketing strategy for these algorithms that are built by humans, but they're impersonal. They're just math, to really understand what you're about. And until they understand what you're about, they're not going to put you in front of people that they have a much clearer interpretation of what they're looking for. So unless you go in this the context game with this, you're going to have a really hard time winning in terms of search regardless. Now, one of the things that does flip that switch is engagement. Anything you do on the internet, the only goal is engagement. The only goal. All the different optimizations that we do with URLs, with Meta, with Anchor, with content, figuring out your content strategy, all of that is for the express purpose of getting whoever looks at it to be engaged. Like we talk about, you watch a video for 5 seconds, they drop off, you didn't win the engagement game. Something about that, the way you titled it, the way you shot the video, the way you put the content together, it wasn't the right product market fit, whatever it might be. Something messed up because we didn't get engagement. So engagement is the only marker that's like kind of the be all end all of a proxy for whether or not what you're doing on the internet works. So let's go pull this up real quick. I think this will work. So this is a website that we worked on, and this website had, how many of you guys know like about SEO? You guys done SEO, paid for SEO, know something about it? Okay, so in general, the way the internet works and the way that industry works is when you get an SEO provider, they say, oh great, it's going to be $1,500 a month, and you just pay us every month, and we're going to do some mysterious stuff, and then we're going to send you a report that shows some green arrows going up, and then hopefully you pay us again next month.
I'm in the wrong industry.
Well, yeah. I honestly realized I kind of was, which is why I jumped into this. I mean, it's a mess. It's a bunch of hucksters for the most part. There are people who absolutely know what they're doing, but the way the offers are typically put together is that the SEO agency does some mysterious stuff that they can't tell you about because it's their secret sauce, and it's some kind of little take on the algorithm that they know. They're not going to share it with you. They say they're building links, but they won't show you what those links are. They say they're getting you better results, but the only rank you're going up for is 2-bedroom patio home in Chandler, which doesn't get any search volume, so your dollars are not necessarily being spent in ways that you can measure and that you can feel good about continuing to, lay that cash down and get results with. So this site is, it's pestday.com.au, it's a live site. Let me make sure it's still going good here. Just pull this up. You guys can check this out if you're watching on the stream, or we'll pull this up later. It's still on the internet. Yeah, it should resize, hopefully. If it doesn't, it should. Anyway, regardless. So this was a site that was one of the people who I taught and trained SEO have been working on this site. It was one of their clients, 15 months. They'd done a lot of stuff. They'd gotten some results, but they were just completely stuck. This happens a lot. Like 20% of all the stuff, even people who know what they're doing in SEO, they kind of do what they're, taught to do or they think is going to be the right thing, and then the results just get flat, and you can't go beyond that. And so what that is strategically, as an entrepreneur, from a business owner strategy, or just in life in general, what you need to look at is your limiting factors, right? The bottlenecks in your own business. What's keeping you back? This had a bunch of good links coming into it. It had a decent amount of content on the site, but it was still limited for some reason. So with this project, a few things that I would just draw your guys' attention to, because these are things that were changed. By and large, it's still the same design. There's not a whole lot of things that got changed between the before and after. But one of the things we did is went in and changed up your top of the page navigation, right? And I'm not sure why this is. Oh, it's pop-up. Yeah, there we go. So in your top page navigation, the way Google reads things is mostly like an English speaker in the United States, so it's going to be top to bottom, left to right. You want your most important things up here on the upper left. So this was a pest control company. Pest control on the previous version of the site was over here on like services, right? And it was hidden. So you had to click on it and drop down and all this kind of thing. You want to prioritize your most important stuff in this navigation at the upper left. The reason being is that Google's only going to allocate so much of their bot and their crawl to your website until they know you're worth it. So if you're all about pest control, you want to make sure that they understand you're about pest control before the About Us. And the reason you got into real estate or pest control or making less lethal ammunition or whatever it might be, right? That was my other business, so anyway. So then one of the other things that we found out in talking to them, and this is also another big thing, you guys are doing SEO with whatever strategy it might be. And SEO is not just the website, it's your YouTube strategy, it's social media platforms. Those all have searches. They all have related searches, suggested videos, all that kind of thing. Is that whoever's doing this for you, whether it's yourself or a provider, unless there's a dialogue there, that you can help tell them what your priorities are, and then they come back with, that might be your priority, but this is where the market is. How are we going to make that, you want to stay where you are? Okay, there's only so much traffic we can get you. You want to move over here, we can start to move people that way. But understanding what the primary offers that you've got and get those in that nav bar is really important. And if you've got drop downs, that's totally fine. Like these definitely have drop downs. You can kind of see some of the different things that folks in, I think this is Adelaide, Australia, tend to look for. Two of the other things that you definitely want to have on your website, and this is for search, just because it's disqualifying if you don't have an About Us page, and if you don't have a terms and condition and privacy policy statement on your page, you're going to get dinged. It's like just points on an application. If you do not have those, just make one of those, because you're going to get cut out of a lot of results if you don't have them. Yeah.
In terms of conditions, I understand with the About Us. Is there anything significant about them?
Google tends to want to personalize things as much as possible. They don't want it to all be about generic companies and the biggest website, like Wikipedia always wins.
Yeah.
They want to have, one of the ways that they've tackled the algorithm and just pure math winning is by incorporating that About Us and the personality and the angle you take. So you being the brand, that's one of the ways that they qualify you as like, oh, this is an actual thing. They come at this for some reason. They were founded in such and such year. They've got a certain angle. They look at the About Us page to determine that, and then you get started. You start getting kind of put in those different buckets. So if you're somebody that's all about like investors, or if you're somebody that's all about first-time homeowners, the About Us page is one of the places that Google looks, and it reads into its database from your About Us page directly to say, here's kind of the sub-niche of the area that these people are working on. So the other really big thing, and I don't know exactly, I don't do a lot of work with realtors, but if you've got a Google My Business, if you've got an actual verified listing with a PIN, I do business here, that opens up so much more for you. If you don't have it, you can still make it work. But if you've got a Google My Business or a Google Business Profiles, what they've changed the name to recently, GPB.
Isn't that really tough without a physical location?
Yeah, there's ways around it, and there's like scammers who do that, and sometimes they work. You can put a listing in Craigslist and get people to return the postcard for you. But because it's so difficult, that gives you an indication of what Google really prioritizes. They want to make that difficult so that it can be a filter mechanism for all the people out there that are just running locksmith scams and things like that. So if you're doing this and that's something, it's like, is it worth paying a little more to get a physical address? As far as search goes, it definitely is. because we're talking about the search from just google.com, but we're also talking about all of the stuffs in maps. That's where people go in maps. If I'm looking for, you know, if I recently got back from Wyoming because we're getting ready to move up there. Like when I'm in Buffalo, Wyoming, and I type in realtor, it's pulling their Google My Business listing.
Yeah, and also they link with the reviews.
It links in with the reviews. And then you've got all that social proof, that verification that you're a real business, that you've got a track record. And that comes in with something that's called, in the Google algorithm, like reading the patents and all that stuff, it's EAT, expert, authoritative, trustworthy. Yeah. 3 letters. So anyway, get your friggin' top navigation figured out. The other thing we did on this, just to give you guys an impression, we started this project in 2021, and when I pull or hover over this, right, you're getting about $1,000 a month in organic traffic value, right? The amount of work that we did on the site, we put about 25 new articles and did their base optimizations across the existing pages, which were about another 25 pages. So we optimized, re-optimized, 25 pages. We added 25 new pieces of content. That's it. We did all that in 1 week, and that's the only thing that's been done since. So it's gone from $1,000 a month worth of traffic to, where are we? I'll pick a peak. $45,000 a month. You guys want to know where to allocate resources, what to pay attention to, what is important, where you can put your money that gives you the biggest potential bang for your buck? Find somebody who knows how to do this. This is 2 years worth of just probably an average $20,000 a month. That's $48,000 return on an $8,000 investment. And it's month over month. And what you can also see here is when we get a larger change in the algorithm, we see these well, this thing get rid out of here. You see these like really sharp inclines, not drops.
Yeah.
This is what Google's looking for. It is looking for the person who's the most expert, authoritative, trustworthy resource on the web, and Google's algorithm continues to refine closer and closer to this. One of my favorite quotes, Wayne Gretzky, it's like, why were you so successful? It's like, most people skate to where the puck is. I skate to where the puck is going. This is the way to skate to where the puck is going. You become a true expert in your field, and you share your knowledge, wisdom, and perspective in a way that's optimized. You put your website together that way, you put your social media strategy together that way, your video marketing strategy together that way, and people find you, right? So, questions?
So you're saying we can tell our clients where the wind blows?
Unless the wine blows before. Yeah. So, with, there's SEO people out there hawking all sorts of stuff, but there are very legitimate ways to do search engine optimization work that you don't have to pay for each and every month, that you can pay for and get what you paid for, that tend to produce great results over time. It's not something where you get in and you get handcuffed, and if you ever stop paying, you don't get anymore. Go.
Oh, you're a social media guy. You got a much better question on
You first.
Okay. So, let's say I just build a website and I'm starting to write content for myself with a brokerage. I haven't gotten it approved by them yet, so I can't actually show it to the world. But I have it listed right now so that it's not indexed by social media or search engines yet.
Yeah.
Once that changes, would I be then using content that they've written for me to post on my website, or would I write my own content?
I prefer to either write my own content or leverage AI systems to do it. I'm also the founder of an AI software that does this. We do all the content for the website, for social media, and all that kind of thing in such a way where you are talking about everything that needs to be talked about in the market.
Okay.
But then we really like and prefer to have the person or the company who's doing that to talk about those subjects.
Okay.
So in your situation, it's kind of the same thing. You got to get it approved. The brokerage has to approve it. It's one of the reasons I tend not to work with, you know, realtors or lawyers, because they got to get all these things approved.
Yeah.
Home services and guns, firearms, and cannabis are where I tend to work. Reason guns, firearms, and cannabis, you cannot do pay-per-click.
That's so surprising.
So they're limited to only doing this. So by working in those industries, you know, I had to kind of hone my talent a little differently than people who have different alternatives.
So if you're not specializing in the industry that we're in,
Yeah.
can you give me recommendations or can you
So,
give me like case studies?
yeah, with real estate, with the companies that I worked with in real estate, we tend not to focus on the houses, all the MLS stuff. Focus on you.
Okay.
What do you provide? How do you look at things? Why are you in this? Make that be the thing that gets people's attention. What you want to do, as far as people's minds go, what's a relationship? Okay, right now, you occupy some place in my mind, some. I occupy some space in your mind, some. You want to grow that and have it be something that's triggered whenever I start thinking about talking about this kind of thing. Oh, that guy, right? You want to do that. And so by putting yourself out there more and talking about these things, you occupy more space in people's minds so that when they're considering this question they might have that you could help them with, you're who comes to mind. That's why you want to talk about as much of this stuff as you can, whether you're for it, against it, ambivalent, whatever it might be. Yeah, what's up,
I
John?
just had a question. So, like, if we walked out of this building today, what are like 3 things you would tell us to do immediately that could have an impact for us?
The 3 things that I would tell you to do is to figure out what your offer is.
Wait, you what? I'm sorry?
Your offer,
Yeah.
right? So if you're a realtor, it's like, well, I'm a realtor. Now, everybody's a realtor. How do you stand apart in that space? What is your offer? How do you help people make decisions they don't later regret? That's usually called closing a sale. But if people only buy 2 to 10 houses in their lifetime, it's all about referrals. So you don't want them to regret it, even if they never are going to buy a house from you again.
Yeah.
That's your only chance for having. Okay, so that means you need people to make good decisions. If you're the person helping them make good decisions, you become a trusted resource. And then the third thing, which is a lot about what search engine optimization is, creating relationships with people, occupying some space in people's mind. If every time somebody's looking something up, if they find your content helping them understand why to buy this or that, or why not to buy this right now, or how to get this different deal on a house, those are all about the nature of when you met somebody. Oh, I met that guy at a bar. I can't remember his name or what he was really doing, but I was at a bar, right? You remember those things. This is about like neurology and cognitive resources, allocation, how the mind works. You want to be everywhere. You want to be seen as the expert, authoritative, trustworthy resource in your market.
Now, would I then just be like posting content about resources, or would I say like this is what's going on in the Greater Phoenix area? Kind of tying it back to what my guys over here were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Would I link my website to my social media profiles and have?
Yeah, so that's all the technical stuff that I could get into today, but I will bore you guys real quick with high-level math and
Dive
stuff.
into it. Let's go.
Right. But yes, anytime you can embed a video on your website and the content, anytime you can link over to a more helpful resource you've created, the more links, the better. Link in the world of the internet and search and the way the algorithm platforms work, that's relationships. Like you want to create as many relationships as possible. So more links tend to be better as long as they're good. You don't want to just have a bunch of relationships with, you know, homeless methadone people. They don't tend to
But like
do that.
internal links, so like
Yeah.
my social media profiles. my
Internal on your
Facebook
stuff, your stuff, you can link out, you can embed other people's stuff, and then like with the comment stuff that was shown, there was a comment, and it's like you didn't agree with it. Okay, you can link to somebody else's thing and put your own perspective on it. You are actually able to leverage credibility by discussing what someone else has had and having your own perspective on it, creating your own argument for it. So you don't only have to use you don't want to be an island unto yourself, because there's obviously somebody out there who believes that, or believes that that's a good way of getting attention. Either way, there's something about that got a bunch of attention because of the number of hearts. Okay, take that, figure out how you look at it, and talk about that. So it doesn't only have to be your stuff, but you want to link all your stuff, all your social media, your website, any video channels you use, anything like that. Yeah. Do you have something?
Yeah, so social media media-wise, you know, there's all the platforms. I think I know the answer, but for a realtor that's motivated on posting content on all these new social platforms they just learned about, SEO-wise, what's going to be the best bang for their effort? So like, which platform has most authority?
YouTube. Like period. Right now, YouTube is the one that's going to get
shorts
you
or
most.
long form?
The long forms are going to have more. You're not going to get the traffic, and that's the thing. Like, look at the right metrics. Like, you don't want to just get more eyes or rank good for a keyword that doesn't get traffic. Like, your phone's not ringing, you're not closing deals. It's like, you know, you're kind of maybe looking at the wrong metric unless you're doing that. Long form YouTube, because right now that's the thing that doesn't exist. That's most scarce, is to find somebody that you can actually trust and get to know over time. And it's like, yeah, that's the person. Jordan Peterson or Rogan or whoever it might be. This is why this long form content is so strong. Is because that's not been the way it has been for a while. It's all these little short blurbs and TV commercials. So stand out in your market. If you know this stuff well enough, get on there and talk to, you know, some of you guys can get 3-4 people together and just do, you know, a podcast. Talk about this stuff, how the market's going.
We do podcasts.
You're welcome, John. Yeah.
Cool. Hey, everybody, let's talk. Maybe one more question? You got one more question? No? Okay, cool. Fletch, thanks so much. Thanks so much, buddy. Appreciate you. So next up, we're going to have like one of my favorite people on earth. I love her to death. It's Nicole Mine. She's a PR expert. She's got a new book out. And she's a rock star. So your turn, Nicole. Do you need to plug in? No, I can probably pull it up. Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
That's good so far, but I'm still trying.
I have it if you do need it.
Like on your phone. Yeah.
Oh, you have it.
I just did.
Yeah, I got it. Thanks, Brian. That was excellent.
Yeah, are you on a move? Okay.
Did you guys want to hold it before?
It's our one for our software. We have AS software that does all this stuff. Oh shit, that's not good.
Good question.
Oh, so exciting. Busy, you know, nothing. That's good.
Essentially, I would use
Do you have it to go out? George Conway, I don't have to do that, but I have this.
What identifies you as a realtor?
where? Oh, for my friends, I've updated my social media. And I have had people reach out about other people that have.
No, I see. Yeah, you go to the bigger cons, much more time. Bigger stage.
Yes, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I like
More intimate, by people.
Rock on. Right. Oh, right. It's crazy.
Great, I know. Yay, we got it. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you all. As John said, John, should I wait or should I keep going?
What about
That's good.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
rock and roll.
Okay. We're gonna rock and roll because we got lots to talk about, and I gotta get out of here in half an hour. All right. I'm Nicole Meiden. I met John a couple years ago through the Scottsdale Living Group. He's amazing. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
There's so much value in him, as you all know, in this group. As John mentioned, I just put out a book, self-published, by the way. If anyone's thinking about self-publishing, do it. It is amazing, very rewarding, and very easy to do on this thing called Amazon. So you don't need a publisher. You can do it on your own. I have been in public relations for 23 years. And when I say public relations, that is media relations. I don't do social media. I don't do digital marketing. I'm not one of these people that claims to do 20 things. I have been doing public relations only for 23 years. And what that means is it's my job to help small, amazing business owners or huge, amazing brands get their message and their story delivered out through traditional media outlets like newspapers, magazines, radio, podcasts, and broadcasts, like television shows that you watch every morning if you choose to watch the news, which I know a lot of people aren't right now, but very powerful, platforms to solidify our messages, our differentiators, our solutions, how we help people. So that's what I do. So I say I like to connect the dots. And the reason I wrote this book, and we're going to get into it here in some of these slides real quickly, is that this is a mindset game. It's an energy game. Everybody is worthy of publicity. I call the book You Are Worthy of Publicity because it doesn't matter if you're a brand that makes $50 million a year or if you make $50. You're worthy of having your story told. And I think what trips a lot of people up about publicity is they assume it's just for the big brands, when really it's for everybody to engage in if you're wanting these opportunities. So you are worthy of the press, but you don't need it. Is it a way to reach more people? Is it a way to bring in new business or new leads? 100%. Is it the only thing to do? No. You just heard about SEO, you're going to hear about, you're hearing about all kinds of things. It's one piece of a marketing leg. So when I tell people, about publicity, this shouldn't be your only thing you're putting effort into. But if you want it, I'm going to tell you how you can do some things locally here in the market to start connecting with your local media. So I talk about this a lot in the book. Like I said, this is an energy play, right? We have to be in the mindset of receiving mode. So if we want to build relationships with local media and we want to get our message out and we want to be that trusted expert that they come to when they need to talk to a realtor or a tech expert and feature somebody in a magazine article or potentially in a news segment, how do we get into the receiving mode, right, of allowing those things to come in? We have to believe that what we're selling and what we believe in is worthy, right? So whatever business you're in, whatever industry, whatever role, we all have stories to tell, right? So that's a huge part of it. The other part, 2 and 3, kind of go together. This organization piece is big. I meet people all the time who have amazing businesses and amazing stories, and they say, I don't know where to start, right? What are some things that you think you need to start being able to pitch yourself to the press? Anybody have any ideas? Photos, right? Strong photos. High-res JPEG images of you, your brand. If you have a brick and mortar, your physical location. If you have products or services, how can we display that, right? How can we kind of show that in, what's going on here? Sorry. That's okay. We'll just leave it. We'll go over it. So photography is important. Why is photography important? Let's say a magazine is on a deadline and they are choosing between 2 people to feature in a magazine. And you email them a pitch and you send them these amazing photos of you or your product or your business. And the other person doesn't have photos and they don't have a staff photographer that can do a photo shoot. They're going to end up picking the person that had the photos. So when we talk about organization and your tools, it's like your photos, videos, your brand messaging, right? The bio, what is your story, right? What is your why? Why do you do what you do, right? Because you like to help people, of course, but it's way deeper than that, right? So getting your PR toolkit, as I like to call it, which is really all these things together, is important. Whether you're in real estate, whether you own a restaurant, all these things apply. So you are the person behind your brand. If you're doing real estate, you're going to have a photo of yourself, right? We know that. Everybody does. So your bio, maybe there's a story a unique story as to why you got to be doing it, right? How are we setting ourselves apart in that information we're putting out there versus all the other people who are doing the same thing? So start thinking about those things when you put together this toolkit. I go into that in the book also, just kind of what that should look like. If you have video content, great. If you don't, that's okay. But really, imagery and key messages and your brand messaging is essential. The organization part also is understanding your market. So I moved to Scottsdale 7 years ago from Los Angeles. My whole career was in Los Angeles. When I got here, I didn't know anybody. And I came into rooms just like this, and I had to start from scratch, building a whole new network. And I had to go out and befriend all the local media here, because that's the only way I could get my clients press. So you have to understand your market. You have to understand the media. If you want press, you need to know, what are my local TV stations? What are the local magazines in town? What are the local podcasts, right? Who are the TV producers? Who are the editors that cover real estate and tech at the Business Journal and Phoenix Magazine and so Scottsdale and anywhere where we could potentially be profiled, right? We have to actually take time to do that research. So it's important because once you know who you're pitching, getting them the information is really the easy part. But you gotta get the organization part done first, so that, again, energetically, you can go to them with exactly what they need. Because what's gonna happen is when you go to them with the right photos and the right information, you're essentially giving them a story. And you're gonna make their job a lot easier and become a trusted resource right away if they see that you are showing up, giving them information that could add value to their viewers or to their listeners, right? So organizing yourself is super important and becoming that reliable resource. When we talk about third-party credibility, which is really what the media gives you, is it the difference of you selling something or not? I have, over 2 decades to say, yes, people could argue otherwise. Is it a decision maker for people? It could be. It's not gonna hurt you to have press coverage, right? So certainly becoming, though, that trusted resource is important. But for a potential client, yeah, if they see on your website that you've been featured in the press, or you're doing a business meeting and you're trying to, talk to investors, and you can show that you've been featured places, it definitely gives you that credibility, right? We all look at that as consumers, right? We look to see, going to this restaurant, have they been reviewed, right? Have they been written up? Have they won any awards? We all do. So it's okay to do that. Becoming a great trusted resource is fantastic. What happens when you get press coverage and you have trusted relationships now with your local media is they'll keep calling you every time they need to interview someone in your niche or your industry. So you can start to kind of rack up more coverage that way. And it could be expertise pieces, it could be you getting profiled, it could be a story on your products or your solutions, all kinds of things. And then the final piece, kind of going to the SEO conversation, is how that we got to leverage this stuff, right? People get press every day, and then they just sit on it and they don't do anything with it. So what can we do to leverage it? How can we create more opportunities from being featured on a TV segment or written up in a magazine or a newspaper? Is you take that and you put it on your website, right? A lot of brands have press and media sections. A lot of people promote it on their social media, right? You can push it out on Instagram, push it out on LinkedIn. Grateful to Phoenix Magazine. Thank you so much for profiling me in your top realtor section this month. You click the article, you show it, you tag the journalist, right? It becomes like this, just kind of little bit of we'll say like a little bit of a rhythm, right? You got to pitch yourself, you got to get the press, and then when you get it, you got to do something with it also to get more eyes on it. And the beauty of leveraging it like that is that, what's going on here? Hold on. Sorry, guys. There we go. The beauty of leveraging it is that.
I might have another one.
Oh my goodness. There we go. Hopefully that will stay. The beauty of leveraging it is that you're getting more eyes on it, right? Just to give you an example of the power of publicity. When I first moved here, I started doing a workshop series like this, and I had a lady who sat in the audience. She was in the front row, and she had just come up with this amazing software and technology around food allergy safety. And she sat for 4 hours and listened to me talk, and she took copious notes, and at the end of the seminar, she came up to me and she said, everything you said makes perfect sense, but I don't have time to pitch myself. Can I hire you? And I sat with her for a while, for a couple months, and we ended up working together for a year. She had never had publicity before, and as a result of her sharing the press that we were getting here in this market, a lot of the publicity ended up in search, right? So when people were Googling her industry, or they were Googling this particular, food allergies or this technology, her name popped up. And so somebody from a very high up position at a major hotel chain ended up reaching out to her. They set a meeting. She now has her software in a major hotel chain all over the country. She changed her business overnight because of a press placement, right? So I always tell people there's so much power in this. Obviously, we don't go into it expecting, oh my gosh, what's the overnight return? Because this is a process, and it does take some time. It's harder to equate, but you get one fresh set of eyes on it, and it can totally change everything. So it's very powerful. Just to touch on our regional market. So Scottsdale, Phoenix, we have a ton of media outlets here. Way more, I think, than people probably know. And the media here wants to support business owners. They want to help people. So we are in a very favorable market here. It's very different than being in like LA or New York, where it's a little bit more competitive, or a larger city. We are a large city, but like I said, we have a lot of really lovely media folks here. So what you want to do if you do want press is you want to get to know them, right? How are you setting yourself apart? Maybe inviting them to come experience something you're doing. If you're having an event, reach out to them. Ask them, hey, you know what? We're doing this. We're going to kind of showcase how we're doing things differently here. Would you like to come with a guest and, on us and have a fun night? Or if you have a restaurant, right, you can invite them in for a complimentary dinner, happy hour, etc. Obviously, I know today we're talking more tech and real estate, but what is something that they can experience so that you're actually giving them an idea to potentially write about? Maybe they can do a ride-along with you. Maybe they can have a lunch and learn in your office, right? You want to build that genuine relationship. Not everybody's going to say yes to your invite. That's okay. Don't take it personally. It doesn't mean you did anything wrong. It means they're just busy, right? But a great way to do that is to invite them in. So create an experience. Your goal, if you want to start pitching yourself, and I go into this more in the book too, is to kind of create your own local media Rolodex. So I'm old school. How many people like to use Excel spreadsheets? Yeah.
Like to, or?
Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't say like to. Yeah, I don't know if any of us will like to, but we do. We use them. You can literally create your own local media Rolodex for yourself. Take a Google spreadsheet, take an Excel spreadsheet. You want to do it in Word document, go for it. Whatever is good. And you can designate an intern or a coordinator at your team to do it if you don't have time. You want to build out your local media Rolodex. Start Googling the magazines, start Googling the TV stations. All of these websites have contact information. When I came up in this industry 23 years ago, we didn't have access to any of these things this way. We had to call people on the phone. We actually had to pick up the phone, right? So we have the internet, you have LinkedIn, you have social media. It is so easy to get these media contacts and their emails. So I want you to build out a Rolodex that's specific for you. If you're in real estate, again, look and see who covers real estate. Or if there isn't a real estate reporter or editor, which not every outlet's gonna have, who covers business in general? Or maybe there is just a main editor that you can approach. Start building that out and creating it for yourself and your team or your business based on the context, and the outlets that make sense for your niche, right? So obviously a sports magazine isn't gonna make sense probably for most people in this room. Just think about things like that when you're building it out. And then now that once you know who those people are, you can invite them in like we talked about. So building that rapport is really important. You want to give them a story. If we're talking about technology, if we're talking about real estate, what are top trends you can talk about as an expert? How can you immediately position yourself as an expert? Trends, new things coming out, current landscape, right? All the things that we know, but we've got to just get in front of them with it, right? So make yourself an expert when you're reaching out to them. Give them 3 to 5 things that are going to help their audience or their viewer with a solution or some sort of add value, right? And then this PR toolkit, like we talked about, making sure you've got strong imagery, making sure that your messaging and your brand, your voice is defined. You don't want to reach out to those people that you've researched in the Rolodex yet until you can go to them with your information. So what is your story? What is your brand message? Who are you, right? All these things are super important. Yeah, the who, what, when, where, and why that we all learned in grade school, right? This is where that applies. And it can be that simple. What is your who, what, when, where, and why? If you're doing an event, what are the details? Here's the event, here's when it's happening, here is what's happening at the event, here's how people can RSVP or not, right? All the basics. So PR toolkit, research, and then your outreach. If you're gonna reach out to the journalists, what is in your subject line? Imagine that some of them get hundreds of emails a day. How are we gonna grab their attention? We gotta hook them in the subject, right? So you wanna get to a point where these emails and the subject line is actually like the story. Like if you had a headline you could see in a newspaper, what would that be, right? That could be your subject. Or if you don't have a story to give them yet and you just want to introduce yourself, you can say, you know, introduction, expert for XYZ industry, right? Let them just see who you are and what you're about. But trends, quarterly earnings, new hires, state of market, you know, expertise you can position yourself into. All these things, right? Showcasing research, familiarity with their sections. If you're going out to the tech or the real estate reporter, the business journal, probably want to spend some time reading that section a little bit, right? Get familiar with the type of stories that they're doing. And then you can say, here's how I can add further value to this conversation. Because I have what are those 3 to 5 things now that you can jump into that story or a different story and actually expand that story even more for them, right? So think about things like that. News, tips, expertise you can give, right? Things that are currently going on. And then I always say, once you get the press, like we talked about earlier, don't be afraid to share it, right? So, you know, marketing brochures, digital media kits, all these things. There's so many places to put the coverage. If you get featured in a magazine or you're on a TV segment and you just let that sit somewhere, that's terrible. We want to be really gratitude-filled when we're working with the media, right? Thank you so much for having me. How can I support you guys further? Well, let me take this now and amplify it out to my network and tag the reporter and tag the outlet and get more eyes on their business as well, right? So then now you're kind of creating this really mutually beneficial relationship. Yeah?
Out of curiosity, so you're saying like take some of the content that they've produced and then use that content, post it on your own channels, and tag it back to them?
I wasn't saying that, but that is totally a good idea. No, that's a good idea. If you, let's say ABC 15 came in and did an interview with you today, and you went into their studio, you would want to take that segment after it airs from their website and amplify it onto your social, saying things like, you know, I'm so grateful for the opportunity to have been featured today on ABC 15. Thank you, XYZ reporter, for having me on, and then you can share the clip. You can do that on Facebook, LinkedIn. You can share it in your, you know, Instagram stories. You can share it on YouTube. You can take those clips too and actually put them on a press or media page on your website, or company you're working for can, if it's not your individual business. But yes, that is a great way to kind of get in the mix of their conversation if you want to take things that they're already posting and reshare them. You know, it's a good way to open the gateway to a relationship. Yeah, absolutely. You can't go wrong sharing media content. for sure. But especially when you're given the chance to be featured, you really want to take that chance to thank them and make sure you're tagging them.
Yeah, this is probably not the right time to ask this, but how do you avoid legal issues with that? Like, of course you want to share that content, but what
what you're doing, what you want to do is you share from their platform and you're tagging them. So really what you're doing is the credit is all to them.
Sorry. So I actually did get featured on ABC 15 one morning for like a lot of
That's amazing.
These dance shows. We were showcasing some stuff at Dave Buster's in Tempe. And it's a great bid, but it's limited segments, so it's only going to be online for a year. And then they purge it completely.
Yeah, so there are some ways around that. So a lot of the stations now, you can actually purchase these segments.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of them work with video kind of partnered companies where they're like video monitoring services. So if you are featured on a morning show or an evening news segment and the station doesn't put it on their site or they don't give it to you, which a lot of them aren't doing anymore, which is fine, they will typically say, here's a company we work with, feel free, here's what it would cost, you can purchase it. Nice. Then you can buy it and you own it.
And then use it and I own it and then still tag them back in it.
You would want to tag them still, but at least then you own it, yeah. So, and also you can Google and look up, there are tons of video monitoring services that do this where you can buy clips.
Because I have the videos, but I just don't know the legality of me going, oh great, I have that. It's sitting here doing nothing like you mentioned.
Yeah, so if you call a video, if you just Google like a local video monitoring service, there's so many, I wouldn't even, you'll see when you Google, there's a lot. There's a lot. But what you tell them is this is the day it aired and this is the station it aired, and then they'll be able to pull the clip for you and email it to you after you pay for it.
Oh, okay.
That's how it works. So, so it's really important if you're putting yourself out there and you're getting these opportunities that you start collecting them. If you are going to be on TV quite a bit, make yourself a reel. That's something that you can put on your YouTube channel. That's something you can put on your website. If you're starting to get a lot of clips, as I call them, and you're getting featured in local newspapers, you're getting featured in local magazines, you want to keep all that in like a library where you can showcase it to people, right? If you're having new business meetings, if you're speaking, if you're meeting with investors, there's so many ways to leverage it. Bless you. But you got to do it because it's kind of like, you get all these great, if you're getting these opportunities, the whole goal is to try to get in front of more eyes with them, right? So use them to your advantage. Let's see. I know we got to wrap up soon, but so one of the things I said, you always want to give gratitude to the media, share the press as it comes out in real time. You can put it in your email marketing newsletters, social media, add it to your website, marketing brochures or pamphlets, whether they're physical or digital, and then you can showcase things at trade shows, industry conferences, community events, like there's on and on and on. Yeah, so, sorry, it was a lot, it's a lot of information. I know we're gonna finish up here, but what questions can I answer specific to some of your businesses or what you guys do with regard to the press before we finish? Go for it. Yeah.
Surprising no one.
I love it.
So kind of a two-parter question. So regarding building your brand through media, how would that be directly applicable to a new agent, a brand new agent, and then also to an agent who's been well established, been around for years, who's trying to get to that next level? Yeah.
So with real estate, I spoke to a group of realtors about a month ago. So here's the thing with real estate and like our local media, and probably in most markets actually. A lot of the magazines do these paid sections, which is not a bad thing, but if you have budget for it, you'll see a lot of the magazines do things every year where they'll feature the top 20 or 30 realtors in the market. But most of those are what they call like it's basically like a pay to play. So to your average everyday magazine reader, it will look like you were featured in the magazine, but it is a paid section, which is completely fine. So if you have budget in your marketing dollars and you want to participate in things like that, most of the magazines here in town do that. You'll see Modern Luxury Scottsdale do it, you'll see Phoenix Magazine, you'll see, I think so, Scottsdale, and you'll see, what's the other one? I said Phoenix. Yeah, most of them do. It could be the top people under 40 who are realtors, right? And there's like a whole issue dedicated to it. So when you're researching the magazines and you're looking into some of the research part we talked about, see which ones are doing that. And yeah, as a new realtor, if you've got some budget and you can get featured in a magazine right out the gate, that's pretty great.
I don't.
That's okay. But that's okay. But what you can do is, I think I heard you say you were creating blogs and content. See, this is just you now using yourself as an expert. Take those blogs and take those ideas and take that content that you're writing and share it with the media outlets. Here's a story I already wrote. Why this is helpful to them is because they also need content all the time. And if you've already written something, that's an add value to them. You're giving them expertise, or you're giving them trends or insight or insider information to your industry that they can maybe use for their online sites, right? So if you've got content and you're already putting effort into that, use that also as part of your pitch, right?
Okay.
And contributing articles is a great way as a newcomer also to get exposure. It's a great way because all the sites, all the platforms need it, and they're not as staffed as they used to be. So if you go to them and say you're willing to actually write an article for their magazine or contribute something to an industry guide or something specific in real estate, there's all kinds of outlets that could use your expertise. They're waiting for people like you to reach out to them and say, hey, I've got an article. Let me share it with you. If you're interested, feel free to use it.
Reference my blog post.
Then you get a byline, and there's your placement.
Okay.
Right?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
How much of a piece of this, or how does it change the situation if you do have a following? You know, if you've got 10 or 20,000 people on email list or following you on, like, how does that shift things?
Yeah, well, if I have some clients who are just starting businesses that take their press and they put it in e-newsletters, and you know, a handful of people see it. If you're taking press and you were just on a local TV show or you're featured in a magazine and you're sending that out in your email newsletter, what's great about that, as we know, is whoever is on the receiving end of getting those emails can then forward those to other people. So maybe one person sees that and they're like, oh my gosh, so-and-so was just featured in this. Let me send it to da-da-da. And then all of a sudden, that press placement now became a new client because somebody saw that you were in something, right? That ignited.
Noteworthy.
It's noteworthy. Yeah. And again, it's not, you're amazing without it. This is the whole reason I wrote the book. Okay, but these opportunities exist for us, so why not get in the game and take advantage of them? And why not use them to our benefit, right?
How much of a help is that to get placement in the interview versus press night?
Yeah, I've been in business for 23 years, so there's obviously something to this, you guys. You know, I work with small businesses here. I've seen it literally change the trajectory of businesses here in this town by being featured as, you know, a trusted resource in the press.
That's their credibility, right?
Yeah, this is a credibility play. You're putting yourself out into a fresh set of eyes. Yeah. You never know who's reading that newspaper, you never know who's reading that magazine, and you never know who's watching that TV segment, right? And you know, there's so many stories. So the point again is that we've got great media here, and starting by just building a rapport with them and building that relationship and being someone to add value to them, not what can you guys do for me, what can I do for you? How can I make your job easier? Let me give you 3 or 4 stories right now that I could help you connect you to someone to talk to. You want to talk to me about it? You want me to be the expert? Great. What can I do? I will show up with my A game. You know, we want to help them.
It's a good perspective shift because it's always like, what can you do for me?
Right.
How can I help you?
Yeah, and that's the mindset part. This is how can we become a trusted resource, and how do we do that? We do that by removing ourselves right? And we got to think about how we can help the outlet. So yeah, but if you guys do want the book, I made it super cheap for everybody. It's under $30 on Amazon. You can get it. You can also reach out to me anytime. I'm happy to answer any questions. I do this all day. So I'm just at Nicole Minded on Instagram, and John can give you my other.
Absolutely. Thank you. You're amazing.
You're the best. Thank you. Sorry I'm so rushed.
Oh no, you're totally good. I got the book at home, by the way.
You got it?
Well, my wife won't give it to me yet. My
she's
shirt's
reading
coming.
it.
Yeah, totally.
I love it. You're the best.
You know, on the magazine thing she threw out there really quick. So, Homeowner Magazine, Brian Johnson, you owe me, buddy. I'm giving you a shout out. He creates a magazine that goes nowhere, but it's a magazine.
Yeah.
So you can pay for $500 to be on the cover.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So, good shout out. So next, we're going to do Ashley Cosgrove, who's amazing as well. Ashley is like the princess, queen, where do you want to go with? There we go. The head of Instagram. She's a rock star, so come on up, Ashley. Do you need help plugging in?
Maybe.
Is it a Mac?
It's a Mac. I have my Oh, you have that.
Oh yeah, we're ready to go.
Before I do that. Okay, I feel like your brains might be fried because I feel like you've been doing this since 1. Do you guys need a break? Because I'm going to blow your minds and I want you guys to be fresh for this.
Want fresh minds?
Anyone need to get a water, go to the bathroom?
They're ready. They're ready. There we go. There's you.
There's me.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, well, hello. My name is Ashley Cosgrove. I am the digital goddess, the only one in the valley. And before you guys say, like, oh, she must love herself enough that she's calling herself the digital goddess. Self-love is important. Yes, I am a Leo, but my clients did give me the title, and I snagged it and put it in my branding before they could change their minds. Okay, so this is how this is hopefully going to go down today. I've had a lot of caffeine. I feel cracked out, and I'm like ready to help you guys start your social media. I tend to word vomit on people, so I'm hoping I could word vomit on you guys kind of quickly, and then we could get to the Q&As because that's my favorite part. I like helping you guys with your personalized questions. But one of the most frequently asked questions that I have is, will social media even work for me? Like, why do I need social media? And my short answer is always yes, it is going to work for you, but you have to treat it as part of your business instead of something that you're doing as a hobby. A lot of people like to go on there and post pictures of their kids, post pictures of their breakfast, and they just think like, why am I not getting any clients from this? And they're not really taking it seriously. They're maybe posting once a month and they're like, social's not working for me. Okay, well, it's not working for a reason. You're not treating it as part of your business. You're not putting that time into it that it needs to really pick up and get you guys clients and where you want to go. That being said, I want you guys to think about who your ideal client is. And I'm not going to press on this too much because I feel like it got talked a lot about today, and I'm sure you're going to sense a theme. And we're not up here, I just want to tell you guys, we're not up here saying the same things because we like to hear ourselves talk. I like to hear myself talk, but these things are actually really important. So if you're hearing these multiple times, it means that it's really, really important, and these are things that you should be really paying attention to. So who is your ideal client? Most of the time, everyone says, oh, anyone's my ideal client. But I do want to remind you guys that if you appeal to everyone, you will appeal to no one. And a good example of that is, for me, as a home buyer, I love DIY projects. Like if someone can find me the nastiest house in like the Chandler Historical District that I could just fix up, I'd be in heaven. A luxury realtor is not someone I'm going to go to for that. I am not their ideal client. So when you say like, oh, anyone is my ideal client, I can sell anyone a house. Niche down, find out who your ideal client is, like people have been saying this whole time, and really stick to that. That's going to help with your branding. It's going to help with your social. It's going to help overall with your business. So let's talk attraction marketing. I don't know if you've heard about attraction marketing. It gets talked about a lot, and I guess there are a lot of different definitions, but attraction marketing is actually really important when it comes to online marketing, but specifically social media. So what is attraction marketing? When I'm talking about social media, attraction marketing is providing free, valuable, educational content for your audience to consume. This goes back to a giver's gain mentality. You want to be giving your audience something, and you're not always wanting to take from them. So I heard that you were saying that you had a blog. Blog content, when someone says that they have a blog content, or like has a blog, I get really excited. Because one blog article can be turned into 10 reels. Like any long form content can be turned into so many pieces of short form content. It's incredible. If you have an article that's 10 ways to XYZ, that's 10 reels. You could do, oh yeah, 10 ways to XYZ, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, and on and on. So, and you're providing them value. You're teaching them, either by teaching or being entertaining, whatever you want, but you're giving them something. And that is building your like, know, and trust with your audience. You want to build an emotional connection with them by talking about your why. Not everyone, there are a lot of social media marketers here in Arizona, just like there are a lot of realtors. But hopefully, people want to work with me because they like me. Maybe they think I'm personable, maybe they think I'm cute, maybe they think I'm cool, I don't know, maybe they like the digital goddess thing, whatever, but they want to work with me because I'm me, not because of social media. And the same is going to apply to you guys. Realtors are a dime a dozen, we all know it, but why should they choose you over a different realtor? So you really want to talk about your why. And lastly, talking to your audience as a person and not as a salesman. This is really huge. When you're constantly selling on social media, people get bored. People are like, oh man, there's Ashley again. She's always trying to sell me on her lipstick that she's selling. She's always trying to, sell me social media. And people will skip your content. And what that actually does is the social media algorithms, pretty much across the board on all social media platforms, if people are skipping your content constantly, they will no longer show your content to those people. And when people are no longer seeing your content, you're no longer providing value, you're no longer getting what you wanted out of social media, and you're more likely to either get burnt out, quit, or just like stop using social media altogether. So I encourage you to be on social media as a person, not as a salesman. Build a community, build a following, be educational, valuable, the whole shebang. Okay, so there is a little content formula that I do like to talk about, where 70% of everything that you're posting should be for engagement and reach. It should be your 10 ways to XYZ part 1, part 2, part 3. It should be something like that. It should be maybe doing like a walkthrough of a house. It should be doing, something that is going to get engagement, that's cool to watch, that people are more likely to share. Your 20% is your trust and affinity. That is your why. That is your why should people be working with me? Why should this person who's a total random, why should they DM me on Instagram asking me if I could help them sell a house? Because we're dealing, right now, social media is like, depending on your audience right now, it could be a cold audience. They could be all cold leads. You gotta warm them up. So why should these people DM you? 20% of everything you're posting should be trust and affinity, and then the 10% should be the sales. Make sense? Okay. What time should I post? This is like a frequently asked question for me. I'm not gonna lie, I don't pay attention to the time. How do I say this? I'll go through it, but at the end of the day, post when you can. I'm not gonna be like, oh, you have to post at 1 p.m. every day, and it's 1:30, and you're like, well, gotta wait till tomorrow. Post when you can, but there are some general times that you can kind of look at. If you head onto your insights, you can see kind of what time your following is online. I say that, but if you are looking to go viral or to gain a following through Reels, through TikTok, whatever it may be, that's not being taken into account when you look at these insights. These insights are only for the people already following you. It's not for the audience that you might be wanting to reach. So keep that in mind when you're looking at that. For my clients and for me, I do like to post reels at around 1 p.m. for like Pacific time, and then East Coast, I feel like that's like a pretty good range. It's either lunchtime for us or it's getting close on like time to leave work for them. So it's kind of like a good middle range. So if you wanted to start with 1 p.m., you can, and then tweak it. It's gonna be like a A/B testing type of thing. So how often should I post? Again, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say it. If you wanna go like viral, you are ready to start your social media journey today, you're gonna wanna be posting on Instagram every day. If you are really wanting to push TikTok 3 times a day.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Facebook, you can get away with 3 times a week. But I say that like I do not want to freak you guys out when I say that, because I do have clients that are growing and they are like going viral with around 3 times a week on Instagram and on TikTok. It's just to maximize the benefits. Posting every day is like the best. The more content you can get out there, the more chances that you'll have to go viral or to reach the audience that you're wanting to reach.
Is it quality over content?
No. Oh, I will get there. Hold on.
Okay.
So, no, it is not in the beginning.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, it is not. Okay, so how are we going to get people to engage with you? Having a caption strategy is a great way. Telling a story, asking a question, having a call to action, stuff like that. It's a great way to get people to engage with you, to get into your comments or your DMs. Having a hashtag strategy is a little outdated. I'm sure you might have heard that hashtags are kind of outdated. I sort of disagree, because they say that hashtags are outdated but keywords are in, and if you put hashtags in your captions, those are keywords. Yeah, so I don't necessarily agree that hashtags are not in, because they're keywords. So I would say keep using them, and if you're using keywords in your videos, keep using them. Your videos get analyzed on social, and that's how they get pushed out to the people that it needs to go to. So keep up with your keywords, keep up with your hashtags. Engage with people in your DMs and in your comments in general. I was working with a client last week, and I was telling him, you need to engage with people on your social media. He's a rapper. I really love the music industry, and I love working with my musicians, personal brands in general, so realtors I also love working with. But he was like, why do I need to engage with these people? These like top performers, they don't engage with people. And I really, whether you love her or hate her, I always want to bring up, how do you think Taylor Swift got to where she's at? Whether you love her or hate her, how do you think she got to where she's at? She built a fan base that grew with her, but she communicated with them constantly. She still does. She still comments on their stuff. So with like engaging with your following, you're creating like a diehard fan base or a diehard following. You want to engage with them. It's very important. Also, engaging with people in your DMs. Sales are made in the DMs. That's what I always say to people. Sales are made in the DMs. So, and if people don't know what DMs are, it means direct messages. So sales are made in the DMs. Yeah, it means direct messages. Yeah. Yes. There we go.
Engage.
Yeah, sales are made in the DMs, and it is a form of engagement. So just like if people are only exclusively messaging you through your DMs, but they're not commenting on your stuff, they're not liking your stuff, that is totally fine, because it is still a form of engagement, and they're still going to see your stuff because they are engaging with your account. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're liking, commenting, sharing, DMing you. They could just be staring at your post for 5 seconds too long, and they'll see your next post. So engagement comes in all forms. Obviously, we want people to share as much as possible, and we want them in our DMs because that's where the sales are. I'm praying nobody knows what this is, so I'm going to touch on this, and then I'm just going to wipe your guys' minds and pretend that you guys never heard what this is. Engagement pods and groups. Do people know what these are? Cool. All you need to know is that you should never be a part of one. Never ever be a part of one. It'll tank your engagement. If someone messages you and says, hey, you want to be a part of my engagement pod or my engagement group, always say no. And I'm not even going to go into it because it's going to sound appealing to you guys. You'll be like, I think I'm going to try it. And you are going to just F up your whole thing.
Now I'm going to Google it and get ads for it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, because at the end of the day, engagement pods and all of that, it's for the vanity metrics. It's how you get these like cheap likes, whatever. Vanity metrics do not pay your bills. So I would not be going on social media saying like, oh, I'm not famous yet. Like I can't make a sale unless I have 10,000 followers. Not true at all. I wouldn't even pay attention to your followers. I would keep your blinders on and just focus on growing your community and building that credibility. Vanity metrics do not pay your bills. Okay, so let's talk about going viral, but the slide's not in there. Tell me your question again. What was it that you asked me that I said I was going to talk about, but it's not in here?
I think it's quality.
Quality over quantity. There it is. Maybe it is in here. So that is a really frequently asked question. Should we do quality over quantity? My answer is you should go quantity for now, because I don't want you guys to get discouraged and spend an entire week creating a video for it to get 10 views. Okay? I don't want you to hire a videographer, spend $10,000 on this video that doesn't get any traction.
Quantity more posts or more reels?
Depending on your strategy, hopefully you're posting mostly reels, but more posts in general.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just don't want you guys to get discouraged. My number one fear is that you guys are gonna get so in your head that you are going to burn out and you'll be like, I can't do this is too stressful. When in reality, you could have made a video in 30 seconds. Some of my reels that have gone viral, I made them in 15 seconds and they hit 2 million views. So you really just don't think about the quality, think about the quantity, and you'll figure it out later. Your quality will get better and better and better as you keep doing those videos. Okay? All right. So let's talk about going viral. Going viral is very subjective. I want to say that right now. So when I'm talking about going viral, it could mean something completely different to you. What is going viral to you? Is it 5,000 views? Would you be like, yes, I hit 5K, that's amazing? Or 10, or 100,000, 750,000, there we go. 1 million or 2 million. What is your viral? And go for that. I don't want you guys to think oh, I have to hit 2 million, and if I don't, I failed. But going viral is subjective. Okay? I was working with another musician, and he just got started on TikTok, and we'll go over that in a second. And I told him, start on TikTok, you're gonna reach more people there. He went viral within a week. He hit 25,000 views. And the reason why I say he went viral is because he wanted to go out to shows locally to try and reach 10,000 people. And I said, bro, you are going to hit more people on social media quicker than you are trying to do it the old-fashioned way in that industry. He hit 25,000 views on a video, and his views keep going up and up and up. He's doing great. So when you think of viral, just think of the number in your head and shoot for that. How to go viral is to stay consistent. The more you post, the better you'll do in the algorithm. Use trending sounds and align your content with your ideal client. Again, you want to get really deep into your branding. You really want to know what kind of realtor are you? What are you trying to provide for your following and for your community? What's a trending sound? You'll know it's a trending sound if you see a lot of videos using the same sound. And I don't want you to think oh, well, a lot of videos are using it, so I shouldn't use it. Not the case. You still want to use that sound. Also, on Instagram specifically, you'll see an upward arrow by the sound name. That's how you know that it's a trending sound, and that's how you know that you are more likely to go viral with that specific sound. Should I be using TikTok? I can't remember what I heard an an hour ago, so I'm just gonna pretend that I heard it. So I heard somebody, I think, asking about if they should be using a whole bunch of social media platforms, something like that. What I recommend for you guys is, if TikTok's too scary, don't use it. I want you to stick to at least one platform that you can get really, really, really good at, and then when you're ready, open it up to something else. Because if you are trying to do multiple at the same time, again, I'm really trying to get my clients to not burn out. You will burn out because you'll think that you'll have to do a whole bunch of different types of content, and you have to do a whole day. You gotta get ready, you gotta do this, blah, 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 this and that, and all of a sudden you're like, forget it. So pick a platform. If you want TikTok to be your platform, it's great. I really don't have any like cons to TikTok right now. I'm sure that might be controversial, but I really don't. It's a lot easier to grow on there. It's a lot easier to get views. Okay, so I'm gonna skip this because you guys don't have to do that. Let's do Q&A. Who has any other questions? Yes.
Can all of this become overbearing? Can you become a prisoner to this?
Yes.
I think. So I don't know the difference between a post and a reel. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But sometimes I put stuff on Instagram.
Yeah.
My title agent does, and then it's on. I mean, it seems to me to become a prisoner to this. So
right.
What's the mindset on that? Now you're much younger than I am, so I get it. And my son is addicted to this. He's watching this all the time. So.
Yeah. You can be a prisoner to anything if you let it. So there's that. So if you don't want to be a prisoner to it, then you won't be, is the short answer. If you really don't want anything to do with social, but you still want to be on social, you can hire a social media manager, and they can do it for you, and you never have to touch your account. That is something I
guess my real question is, if you're going to do it, at least do this much, otherwise you're just wasting your time and then step up to it. You know what I mean? Or is that not really?
Yeah. So
not that platform.
It can be. It depends on what your goal is for social. So if you're just there for brand awareness, if you're there for it to help with your SEO, if you're there for it to just be a page to where somebody can land on it from your website or from Google, whatever, you can get away with posting once or twice a week, just keeping it active. But if you're looking to grow, that's when all of this comes into play.
Okay, one other question. Do you believe that each different platform appeals to a different demographic?
Yes, 100%. So what we're looking at right now, Facebook is around, it moved up. Facebook is like 26, 27 to dead. So we have a big range on Facebook. Instagram, we have a big range on Facebook, thank you. For Instagram, we're looking at like a little bit younger, all the way up to 40s, and then TikTok, even a little bit younger, although like the cap is a little bit younger, but I am seeing older generations hop on there. Yeah.
Okay, what do you write? Earlier you mentioned something about posting reels instead of posts, but then
Yeah.
So what do you recommend? Do you think reels get more? I'm like Facebook I got down, TikTok I got down, but Instagram I can never get.
Yeah.
Because every time I think I know something, then all of a sudden I have something else, I'm like, crap.
Right.
So what do you recommend to focus more on?
Yes.
What's the difference between a post and a reel?
So she's talking about, yeah, so she's,
End of story.
yeah, so she's talking about either posting a video versus posting a photo or a graphic. So video is king even now. So anytime that you can post a reel or a video, I recommend that you post a video. If you are going to post graphics or photos, I recommend turning them into a carousel. That's your second most highest performing type of content on social. Then it would go photos of people, then it would go graphics.
So do you still have, which was an amazing thing, but you had the breakdown, the monthly calendar that you sold. Do you still do that?
I don't.
You don't.
I know. Don't say that. I don't.
Love that thing.
Yeah.
Like for real estate agents, they just be posting about real estate stuff, or can there be different pillars? Like, can you do like jiu-jitsu, fitness, and throw in real estate? Because I've seen real estate agents just post real estate.
Yeah.
People don't go on social media to, they go there to be entertained.
Yeah.
But should it be like different pillars of like?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I recommend pillars for sure. The only thing that I would be careful with is I just don't want your audience to get confused. You can pick up 5 up to 7 different pillars that you can talk about. I would just make sure that you have like a main one, you know, and then you can talk about however much you want outside of that. Just make sure that your audience isn't getting confused. If they're getting confused, then you're going to need to dial back. But that could be like, you can test that out and then go from there. Okay, was that it? Any other questions?
We good?
Go.
Thank you.
It's so funny when you just said
So everybody, let's take a break, you know, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. How's it going so far? I mean, you guys happy?
Yeah.
Good? Positive? All right, sweet. Keep taking pictures. Love it.
same thing